What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Lou, man. We back with another video. So look, we're gonna go over this quote real quick and then we're gonna hop in with the video. So this quote says, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up." And I know I post a lot of, I know I say a lot of motivational quotes, obviously, because that's what I was trying to do. Just give a little motivation at the start of the video. But I always talk about basically never giving up and always believe yourself. That's most of the quotes are about, and this is one of them. So it says, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up." So basically it's just somebody that has a goal in mind and they're just wanting to strive for that goal as hard as they can and just wanting that success at the end that everybody wants. And it's just basically saying that if you never give up, then you're gonna hopefully get there one day, you know? But if you give up and you're just, once things start getting hard and you're like, oh my gosh, it's getting tough, I can't do this no more, then that's just when you're gonna give up and you're not gonna be able to get your full potential that you would be if you never gave up. So this quote just saying that if you wanna be where you wanna be, just never give up, basically. And that's how I live by, not live by, but that's how my mind runs on. I just think that if I just keep doing what I'm doing right now, in a year I'll be 10 times better than what I am now. Like last year when I started trading or started learning how to trade, like I always see memories on my Snapchat about like videos and stuff that I used to post, and I used to think that I knew, not knew obviously, but I used to think that I had a good understanding of Forex, and I didn't at all. But now I do a lot. And a year ago today, I would never thought that I'd be knowing this much about Forex or whatever. And a year from now, I'll probably look back at this time like, you thought you know a lot, now you know a lot more. And in 5 years, you know, so basically just never give up. And yeah, this is just something I want to share with you guys, so you guys can hopefully take some away from my setups, and not just the setups, but just the trades and how I look at the market and how I view it. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. I hope you like it. If you like it, go ahead, hit the subscribe. Let's reverse that real quick. If you like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and leave a like. But let's get into the video. What's up, YouTube? So let's get into the charts, man. So look, we're looking at this pair, NZDJPY, and this is a pair that I didn't actually execute a trade on, but I was in a trade mentally because I missed a trade. So I'm going to talk about this instead. No, I missed it, but I'm going to talk about this Euro NZD. Actually, let me put the technicals on. I'm going to talk about this trade, the sell that I took, this buy that I took in my head, and this buy that I took. So we're going to start NZDJPY first. Let me take everything off the charts. Let's go on the daily. All right. As we're looking at price right now, which way is price heading, up or down? It's going up, right? Clearly. So we're not looking to take any sells, right? And actually, I was taking a sell right here. I think it was like right here last week, but I got stopped out because it was a double top, price sold off, and then came back to make a, all right, so it's a high, then a low, then a lower high, and I was expecting price to come down here to either create a lower low or just to at least hit this level. So I sold it like right here, I think, off a bunch of confluences, but I sold it right here and got stopped out. So I'll show you this buy that I got right here. So if we start on daily, we can see price is making, so this is a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, double top, filled out, and failed to make a higher high, and instead created a low, and then made a, so let me just go over this real quick. Hold up. So price came up here to make a double top, and instead of coming here, because this is a previous higher low, right? All right, so we have a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then higher low, right? So this is our previous higher low, and then we have our higher high. So instead of price coming down here and then making a higher high and then come back to test it and then keep going up, instead of price doing that, price came down here, broke this low. So we're showing that sellers are kind of starting to get back in the market, and then it came back here to make this potential lower high, and then to make a potentially lower low or create a new lower low. I mean, to come back here and test this low or to make a new lower low, right? And that's what I was expecting price to do last week, but it didn't do that, and it did this, and this is why I took this trade. So right about here. Just looking at price right here, right? Oops. Just looking at price right here. So instead of it keep continuing down, 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 and continue to look for sells, this is where I started to look for buys. Once price came up here, so this is a new low. This is a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So now we're looking for a higher low to make a higher high. Let's add in the technicals. So as we can see, price has bounced once, twice, and 3 times on this trend line. So we're going to add this trend line in. So now we have this valid trend line because price is bouncing here, acting as support. And then every time it hit here, it bounced up, bounced up, bounced up. And now we have this counter trend line that is acting as resistance, right? Because every time it hits, it falls. Hit, fall. This time, instead of hitting and falling, we broke through it, right? Showing that buyers are in the market more than sellers. Because if sellers are in the market more, then we would probably just come down here, do this, do this, do this, do this, whatever. But no, sellers were in the market, so we made a higher high. Price broke through this key level right here, as well as through this structure, because these were highs right here that it failed to break, passed, failed to break, passed, broke, but then quickly closed back down, failed to break, passed, and now we're broke past it, right? Because this wouldn't be a breakout, because this is barely right here and it closed right back down, right? So it wouldn't count that as a breakout. But now once price did this big impulse move, we can count that as a breakout, right? So now, like I said, we're only waiting for now a higher low, and then to get into it right around here, somewhere right here, and then to look to either have a target right here, or if you want to set new high targets, then you can do that. But for me, my targets are just here mentally, right? Because I wasn't actually in this trade because I missed it. Let's see what price does, because now we're waiting for price to come back in this level, right? Where it already hit once, twice, 3 times. Now we're waiting for a 4th touch on this trend line, as well as this trend line is a counter trend line. So it's resistance, resistance. Now broke above, so now it's going to test it as support now, because price is above it. It's not under it anymore right here. That I was act as resistance and then go down. It broke above it. So now it's buyers in the market. So now we're looking to catch the wave, right? So let's see what happens when price gets down. And as well as these MAs right here, I'm not going to get into depth with those, but these are just things that move along with price and act as resistance and support, right? So we're getting all this confluence in this area right here, right? So we're off this trend line, we're getting a 3rd touch right here, we're getting a 4th touch off this trend line. We have this good key level where price is reacting at good in resistance, support, resistance, 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 resistance. Couldn't break through, right? Finally broke through, so now we're coming back to test. So let's see. And now we have this as another confluence that we can add. This counter trend line, right? So you see how it's hitting, falling, hitting, falling, hitting, falling. So now we can see that this trend line right here is showing where price is failing to break, right? So we already have this trend line that it failed to break, and it broke out of that, and now it's coming to test it, right? And now we have another little trend line that we can use, but instead of using it as a resistance kind of trend line, it's basically showing me whenever price breaks out of this that we're ready to start looking to get into the trade, even though I got in down here. But once it breaks out of this, it's showing that we broke out of this, buyers in the market, and now once we break out of this little one, we're definitely buyers in the market, and so we should continue up to here, right? So let's go over again. So right here is where where I was looking to buy, right? Because I didn't take this trade, I was asleep. So price came down here where I was asleep and then rejected like this. And once I seen these 2 rejections like this is when I would definitely get in the trade. So I think I woke up when price is like, I think price was right here already, and it was already breaking out. So I couldn't get in here, and I didn't want to enter the buy right here and have my stop loss under here, and then have a take profit right here, right? Because I would just be barely a one-on-one, and then price could definitely just come back down here and then play around right here, and you wouldn't even have a good risk to reward. So didn't want to do that. So I missed the trade. So no biggie, you missed it. Oh well, it is what it is. So let's see how this trade played out. So it finally broke above that, right? So now we're like, okay, it broke above that. That's good. We're not hitting here and then falling anymore. We finally broke out of that too. So I can take this little counter trend line off. Now we can see where price comes up to. So hit take profit, right? And like I said, this is my take profit, this 79148 level. So that was just my take profit, and that's how that trade went. And it would have been a good trade if I would have, actually woke up and executed it. But it's all right. You can't win them all. You can't catch them all. Sometimes you miss them. And even if you don't, you want to have a good risk to reward, right? We wouldn't want to get into the trade right here. And like I said, how about I stop right here and barely make this the 1-to-1 ratio and just not have a good risk to reward, right? Because in the long run, that's not going to work. So that was that trade. Let's get into the next one. Okay, so let's talk about Euro NZD. I'm going to try to go over this trade kind of quick. Not quick, but not slow like the last one, because I still want to get over GBP NZD without this video being 3 hours long. So first, without technicals, right, we're going to look at market structure. So as you can tell, which way is price going, up or down? That's the first thing you should really identify, which way is a trend. Because once you identify that, it's kind of not easy, obviously, but it's better to understand which way is the market flowing so you can find the best prices to get in. So price is going down, right? So we're only looking to take sales. We're not looking to take no buys right now, unless market structure shift starts changing and starts going up. So for this time being, we're looking to take sales, right? So actually, let me take it back right here. Looking at market structure, we can tell we have a high right here, a low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then potentially this is going to be the lower high, right, to make a lower low, or to at least come to this level or this level, or make a lower low, do whatever, right? So like I just said, high, low, lower high, because this is still a high, right? This is a high, this is a high, this is a high, 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 high. Anything up here is highs, right? And these are the lows. Low, 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 low. We're not going to count every single low, but some market structure, high, low. Now it's a lower high, lower low, because this is a lower low because it broke these lows right here. Price broke that to make a new lower low. Then it came up to make a lower high. Then it broke this low to make new lower lows, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So that's how price is flowing. So let's go ahead and add in the technicals. Even though this looks kind of confusing, I'm going to try to help you guys understand what I was looking at. Let's take this off actually. So for one, price in a downtrend. So we're looking to take sales, right? So now that we know that, we can identify price hit this trend line once right here and twice right here. And this is a false breakout, so I didn't count this, right? So hit once, twice, so I added my trend line in, right? And then this is going to be potentially the third touch. And as well as that, oh yeah, right here. So as we can identify, every time, all right, so price come up here, come do this. So this is a high, right? And then usually price always comes back to the previous high and tests it. So it came back here and now it's going to go up. So now price broke this high right here, right? It's going to go up, come back, test it, react, reject, whatever, do its thing, and then go up. So obviously it doesn't do this every single time, or trading would be easy, right? But most of the time, this is how price normally flows. So retest the highs, retest the lows, depending on which ways the trend is, and then it's going to continue that way, right? So right here, price came, hit again. So this is support right here, right? And then it broke, and then now it's just testing as resistance, right? So old support turns new resistance, and now this is another level that I was looking at for price to come hit resistance, because this is support, turning resistance. So our confluences would be this key level right here that you can see, that key level, the third touch right here, Now let's drop to a lower time frame to see what it looked like. So we're waiting for it to get into this level, right? To hit this trend line, then we're going to get into the trade once it starts falling. So, and actually, I also made a counter trend line right here. Like I said in the last video, counter trend lines here, here. So once it breaks through this, it's showing that sellers are now in the market, right? Because buyers are in the market because it's hitting it. Let me drop to a lower time frame so you can see it better. But as you can tell, it's hitting it, going up, hitting it, going up, hitting it, going up. So once it breaks it, that's our final confluence to tell that price is no longer in this uptrend that it's been going in right here, right? It's no longer in this uptrend, even though this is not the same trend line. It's showing that sellers in the market now, right? So now that we got up to these levels that we were looking at to take the trade, right? Because this is where our area was that we were looking at to take the trade. So now that we're up here and we're rejecting, so as you can see, all these rejections. So it came up here, rejected, came up here, rejected, came up here, rejected, came up here, rejected. And then this psychological level right here, I don't know why it's that, but 9,800 was right there, right? So it came, hit it, rejected. So now it's falling, and now we can see that it's breaking at this trend line, right? So this is where I entered right here. So once it was rejecting and broke and it started breaking, right? And my stop loss is right here over these wicks. Let me just show you. Over these wicks, right? Because if price were to come up here and break above here, then I wouldn't be expecting price to drop anymore, right? I would be expecting price to do something else. So that's where I have my stop loss. This is how the trade looked, but I actually have my level here. I just extended it after. So this is what the level, and actually my stop loss is not right there because it was a 1 to 3. So this is what it looked like. So my stop loss was roughly around here, right? Over these wicks, covering them just in case price were to come up here and then create a little liquidity and then come back down and test. Come back down and drop, right? So this is basically what the setup looked like. Like I said, did not mean to do that. It was a daily break and retest. So hit here, break, retest, fall, retest, and I got in right here and it fell. So once I got in the trade, and this is a trade that I actually took, and I'm still in this trade and I'm still holding it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. But got in this trade and it automatically just tanked all the way down. And I closed, I think 75%, right? Well, closed 75% right here. All right, it was on one of these. I don't know which one, but it was on one of these first 2 or 3 touches. So I closed 75%, and now, actually, let me just do this. I don't know why I did that, but this is where price is right now, and I'm waiting for price to drop under these. You see these lows that it's creating? There's resistance, turning support, and once it breaks under here again, even because we're in the downtrend still, it's going to break under here, probably test this, and then bounce up, and then test the old lows, and I'm probably going to enter another position right here, along with this quarter position I still have running. And I'm probably going to target either this low, well, probably first target's right here, and then second target's probably this little wick right here. But yeah, so my extended targets are right here right now with this little runner that's in, and obviously the trade's been break even. So this is what it looks like now. So that was just that trade. And now let's get to the last trade, the one that I took this week. Let's go ahead and clear everything off the chart. Go to the daily. All right. Actually, let's take it back. Let's start on the daily. All right, so this pair, which way is it going? It's kind of consolidating, right? You can't tell if it's going down or if it's going up. So it's kind of stuck in this range right here, right? This little range, whatever. So this is kind of a harder, not really harder because I've been in the markets, but for newer traders, this would be a kind of a harder trade to look at and to see and figure out because it's consolidating, so you wouldn't know whether to catch a buy or sell. But anyways, so this is how you can see this is the level right here. It hit a support, came up, hit support again, and it finally broke through that, right? So as we're looking at right here, it finally broke through all this support, right? So price is down here now. Now it came back up and it's testing these lows, right? Because like I just said, once price breaks it, it comes up to test it. So now it's testing it, testing it, testing it. So now it's not dropping, right? It's going up, going up. So let's just go ahead and add these levels in because it's going to be hard to explain it without seeing this. So as you can see, price is hitting support here, here, here. It finally broke, and now price is acting as resistance all throughout here, right? Because it's hitting and falling, hitting, falling, hitting, falling, hitting, falling. It's not breaking through, right? But now it finally broke through. So now let's go ahead and look at market structure now. It finally broke through. So we had a high, now a low, now a lower high, now a lower low. Lower high, and it failed to break this low and make a new lower low, right? And instead, price pushed up, created a high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So now we was in this downtrend, but now we're shifting out of that and we're starting to go into this uptrend, right? So now we're only looking for buys right here, right? So I said it was hard to identify it, but as you can tell right now, which way is price going? It's probably easier now. Price is going up, right? Because it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. All right, so let's put the technicals back in there, take the indicators off real quick. So I had this trend line in right here because price acted as support right here, second time here, third time here, and then broke, right? Broke this trend line. Then it came back up here, tested as resistance, and broke through, came back, played around, right? But then it came back, tested as support, and then support. That was just a trend line that I had in there, and it was valid because every time it touched it, it did something. It reacted, right? It didn't just hit it and just keep breaking past it, right? Even though it played around right here a little bit. It hit, bounce, hit, bounce, hit, bounce, fell, hit, bounce, 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 bounce. So that was a valid trend line. Another trend line that I had was this one. This hit once, twice, and now we're waiting for it to come back and hit a third time because we're not looking at price right now in hindsight. We're looking at it when it was right here. So we're just waiting for it to once, twice. Now we're looking for a third touch, right? So this would be the third touch. And as well, like I said in the last video, I had this counter trend line right here. So hit, fell, hit, fell, hit, fell, hit, fell. And actually, I got in this sell right here last week off a double top, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then I got in here. And it was off another fib and more other confluences. But I saw it right here, and I think I closed right here. And now, this week, I took a buy. So let's see what it looked like. So I just told you I had this trend line, and this trend line in, and this is the area that I had my key level at right here, right? Because it hit a support, resistance, not support. So let's drop down to the lower time frame. So this is the confluent area, right, that I was looking at because I had this trend line. This would be the third touch. This trend line, this key level, and this trend line, right? That is hitting support. And as you can see, it never broke past this, right? Even though it broke past the trend line a little bit, it never really broke past and closed past it, right? It was still kind of wicking right here. So this is still showing that even though it's coming down and breaking past this trend line that I wanted to bounce at, it's still showing that it's not coming down and closing down here or breaking it totally, right? It's still hitting it and then reacting, hitting it, reacting. So that's good. And when it came to this trend line, when it came to this trend line, you see how it hit, fell. It hit and it didn't fall, right? It's supported right here along with this area. So once it's supported and prices came hit this trend line, pretty sure I got in a trade right around here because you can tell it's right here. So let me show you my stop loss and my take profit levels. Let's go to 6 star, my fault. So my stop loss was right here, right? And it was just under this wick right here, and I had my alarm set just in case price were to come back down here and break under this low and this low. I would have them set to look to try to exit the trade or just see what price actually doing, right? To look if I want to exit or if I want to just stay in the trade. So my alarm never got hit. Next, I can take this off. I don't know, I still got it on there. So my alarm never got hit because price never came back down that low, and instead price broke this counter trend line, which is what we're looking for, right? So these are my take profit levels. I entered the buy right here. My stop loss was under these levels right here, right? Because if price were to come back down here and break all these levels, I wouldn't be expecting price to just find some support right here and just keep going up, right? Because it broke under all that support. So once it breaks that, I'm probably looking to close the trade. So my stop loss is right here in a good area, just in case price would come down here or whatever, create another wick off this trend line and off this support and bounce up. It's in a good area to let the trade breathe. And then my take profit is right here, just at this level and this level. And this is a daily key level that I had in here. So it's this level, right? Support, 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 resistance, resistance, resistance. So that was just my take profit level. So let's see once I got in the trade what happened. Well, I got in right here, but let's just see what happened. Alright, and as you can tell, that mug smack take profit quick. And this is like a 2.3 or 2.8% winner or whatever. But it was a 1% risk, so I made 2.29% gain, right? So that was a good trade, and we starting out the week right, baby. So let's continue and let's get it. So that was the trade breakdowns, and hope you learned a lot. Appreciate it. What's up, you guys? So that was just a breakdown. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I hope you got some takeaways from the video and something that you can help either improve your trading with or just something that you can remember. But appreciate you guys for watching. If you stayed through the whole thing, I appreciate you a lot. And if you're still here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so I can get, boost a little subscribers up a little bit. I'm just playing. But go ahead and leave a like for me if you like the video, and tap in with the bell so you never miss a video. But I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Peace out.